Hey everybody, welcome to our weekly message from Clyde Student Ministry. My name is Matt, I'm one of the student pastors at the church at Severn Run, and today is another opportunity to do something a little different. So this is a new space for us, it's a new space to kind of talk with you guys. This is inside of my room, my bedroom in my apartment. So we're doing things a little differently now at the church. We've moved most of our work from the office where Daniel and I work together into our homes. We're working separately. So we're hanging out in my house, and just so you guys know, in the next 10-15 minutes, we're probably going to catch a little bit of our dog Biscuits, a little bit of background noise, our 11-month-old Jack, and my 2.5-year-old Josh, and maybe my wife Emily, we'll see. So you might hear some background noise, maybe one of the neighbors, maybe a neighbor's dog. Just enjoy the ride, you guys. This is where we are and what we're doing, and you know what? Genuinely, we're excited to do it. We're excited to still be able to talk and hang out, even though I can't quite see you. I'm just happy to know that some of you guys are going to see this, and we want you guys to know that we're praying for you guys every day. We're praying for you and your schools. Today is Wednesday, and we got the message about schools in Maryland being extended out to, I think, April 24th it was. So we're paying attention with you guys. We're here with you through all of the news that's coming out and the next steps and what's going on. So just know you guys are in our thoughts and prayers, and that we are, Daniel and I and our leaders are actively trying to be with you. So we've had some opportunities this week, just kind of recap, to be on social media for Instagram, Facebook, and even TikTok. And then we've got the YouTube channel and a few things on IGTV. And then we have Zoom. Zoom is the way that we can meet together. And right now we do that at Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. So if you're watching this on Wednesday night, we really encourage you to stick around and join us on Zoom. We also meet on Tuesdays at 4 just to hang out, catch up, have some fun. So we encourage you to check that out as well. And for all of these things, here's where we want to start the message tonight. We have always and will always be a student ministry. So we've had different student pastors. I've been here for about 4 months now, 5 months maybe, and Daniel has been around for a little while. But it's not our ministry. It's not Matt and Daniel ministry. It's student ministry, and it has always been true and will always be true that you are the center of this ministry. So what does that mean now? What does that mean now that you are at home? You're not at school. Most of you are not at work, even though some of you are, and thank you for doing what you're doing. And thank you for you who are staying home. That's what you should do. Obey the law. Stay home and be safe. Wash your hands. We're just in a different space and a different time. So what does it mean to lead your ministry right now? Yeah, I'm not going to answer that question 100% for you. I think that's something that all of us need to dive into on our own. And as we have some quiet time, some Selah moments to be still and know that God's in control, to pray and to ask, and then for God to give us some guidance, some inspiration that maybe you can make something on YouTube or Instagram that's going to encourage your friends. Maybe you could invite and tag somebody at a post and invite them into a Zoom group, or invite them to watch this video, or invite them to do whatever we're doing online. We're going to have a Netflix watch party on Friday. We're going to try that out and see how it goes. So there's a lot of different things that we're doing. We're really just trying to give you stuff, because this is your ministry, that you can be encouraged, you can be informed, and then you can carry the message that we have and give it to the people that need it, which is, I'm sure, a lot of our friends and a lot of our classmates and maybe some of our neighbors and family members. So just want to start out there, that this is your ministry. How can you, in the middle of all of this nonsense and chaos, how can you just encourage and inspire another person to take a step closer to God? So here's the thing. We're going to do something a little different today. We're going to do a lesson. It's a little early. All right, so Easter's coming up in a couple weeks, and Easter is a really big thing, and we don't know 100% what Easter is going to look like, but we do know that Easter is going to happen, right? Christmas can look different when you're 2 years old, 8 years old, 20 years old, and whatever, but like Christmas always happens. Doesn't matter what's going on in your life. Easter is something we're going to celebrate. It's the most important thing that has ever happened, that Jesus died and rose again, right? That changed everything. So this is the most important moment we're going to celebrate no matter what. Like, you can't stop, won't stop. We're going to celebrate Easter. So there's a story, a really, really important story that happens right before Easter. And we're going to hit it just a little early because I think it's going to be important for us. And however long, right? We know school's going to be out for at least a month. So for however long we're going to be in this, at least 4 more weeks, we want to have this approach and this mindset. We want to be thinking about our role and we don't want to miss the moment, right? We don't want to miss the point. So here's the story. It's the most triumphant entry. It's the moment where Jesus rides into town with all of the fanfare and all the people cheering and they're going crazy and people are throwing their robes down and they're throwing their branches down and it's this big, big party right before Easter. Maybe you guys have heard the story before. If not, we're going to be reading through the Gospel of Luke, chapter 19. So I encourage you to either find a Bible, open it up. If you're able to open it up on your phone, but really, especially if you're watching this on your phone, try and find a Bible in your house. If you don't have one, I would love to send you one. Honestly, like message me. I will mail you a Bible. I promise. If you message me and ask me to, I will mail you a Bible. So find a Bible, Luke 19. So here's the thing. The most triumphant entry. The reason we picked this title is because it reminds me of two people from a movie. And I'm going to date myself a little bit. This is an older movie. I heard the whispers they might be doing a remake or like a part 2. So we'll see how that goes. But there's this old movie called Bill and Ted's Most Excellent Adventure. Right, Bill and Ted's Most Excellent Adventure is this movie with like baby Keanu Reeves. Big fan of Keanu Reeves. But like this young Keanu Reeves, I forgot the other guy's name. They're high school students and life's not going the way they planned. Like they're super focused on being in this really awesome, amazing band, right? Like they're all about their rock band they want to be in. School's not going very well, life's not going very well, and they're just focused on the wrong thing. So they get basically told by their principal or one of their teachers that if you can't pass this history project, you're not going to graduate high school. Like your high school career is over. Their families are furious. I think one of them is going to be sent to military school and all these different things if they can't figure it out. So they get this really crazy special opportunity. For some reason, and we're not going to spoil the movie, but this telephone booth shows up and this guy comes out and explains that you can use this telephone booth to travel back in time to learn things about history so you can pass your history project. Right? You can get an A+ on your history project. Crazy movie, crazy story, and these guys are, they're not all there. They're really funny, but they are kind of airheads a little bit, and there's this phrase they use all the time. They'll say "most excellent." So here's the thing: most excellent. You can just be around your house, maybe this time period. I challenge you guys to use the phrase "most excellent" just at least once. Try it out, like wear it, see if you like it. Maybe we'll all come back from this and we'll be saying most excellent. So, if somebody passes you the tray of rolls at the dinner table, you say, oh, most excellent. Or, if somebody's like, hey, I've got to go to Walgreens to get some orange juice. But, oh, yeah, most excellent. Try it. Don't, give it a shot. But this was kind of their catchphrase, was the most excellent or most triumphant. Most triumphant is also another thing they would say. So if you're like, if you're playing Fortnite or you're playing some game and you get your buddy or you win, most triumphant is a pretty good way to celebrate. So want to give those to you guys to try them out. Most excellent, most triumphant. But here's the whole point. Here's the connection. These guys go back in history, right? They actually use this time machine to go back in history. They meet all these famous people, and they still never quite get it. Like they still never fully understand the significance of who's around them or what's going on. They're just kind of disconnected to what the point is or what you really should know or what you really should be doing. So they're just kind of there, heads in the clouds and focused on this one thing, and they're missing the point. So here's the reason why we're doing this story. It's about Palm Sunday, which is in like a week or two. It kind of is the build up to Easter. But here's the point about these guys. This most excellent, most awesome, most triumphant attitude is that you might be thinking of the wrong thing and missing the main point. So in the story, in the story of Luke chapter 19, there's this celebration. It's the most triumphant entry of Jesus into Jerusalem. And a part of this adventure starts in Luke chapter 19, verse 28. After Jesus told this story, he went toward Jerusalem, walking ahead of his disciples. As he came to the town of Bethpage and Bethany on the Mount of Olives, he sent two disciples ahead. He told them, "Go into that village over there, and as you enter it, you will see a young donkey tied that no one has ever ridden." It's interesting. No one has ever ridden before. "Untie it and bring it here." If anybody asks, "Why are you untying that colt?" which is a name for a young donkey, basically, why are you stealing that? Just tell them the Lord needs it. Verse 32. So they went and found the colt, just as Jesus had said. And sure enough, as they were untying it, the owner of the baby donkey comes out and says, "Why are you untying the colt?" Verse 34. The disciples simply replied, "The Lord needs it." And so they brought the colt to Jesus and threw their garments on it for him to ride on. Okay, so let's pause right there. So kind of setting up the scene. Jesus has been traveling. He's been doing miracles. He's been teaching. He's been telling stories. He's been changing and rocking the world, right? So there's this build up and anticipation, kind of the whispers of who is this Jesus and what is he capable of? The stories of people that come and just want to touch, his cloak to be healed, and the people that are lowering their friends down through the roof so they could be healed. So there's this anticipation, this really big buildup of who Jesus is and what he's capable of. And before he rides into town, he needs to secure his ride. So he sends the disciples ahead to go, basically go steal a donkey. He's not stealing because he is God and he owns everything and it's his right to it. But I don't want you guys to miss this point, that the person who is the owner of the donkey, just imagine this. Like imagine looking out your window and there's some person breaking into your car and you're like, "Hey, what are you doing? What's wrong with you?" And they're like, "Don't worry, the Lord needs it." Right? Like or somebody, you're at school or something and somebody's like at your locker just like taking stuff out and putting it in their bag and you're like, "What are you doing?" They're like, "Oh, don't worry, man. The Lord needs this." We don't really see the full interaction, but we don't get any sense that there was a struggle. So this story, which is an incredible story, starts out, we want to focus, the unsung hero so far is the owner of the donkey, who must have had some faith and some understanding of who Jesus was. And so when the moment came and somebody said, "God needs this from you, Jesus wants this from you," he's like, "Oh, okay, go for it. I wish I had two donkeys," right? I don't know, there's no fight, there's no struggle. They didn't have to argue about it. It was just, hey, the Lord needs this. And this person was like, "Okay, sounds good. Sounds like a plan." So, a couple more things. We want to keep reading. I'm going to jump down. It's still chapter 19. I'm jumping down to 36. As Jesus rode along, the crowd spread out their garments on the road ahead of him. So the crowds are making this path, right? They're super pumped. When he reached the place where the road started, all of his followers began to shout and sing as they walked along, praising God for all the wonderful miracles they had seen. All right, so now we're kind of amping up. This is going from people are excited to now we're dancing, we're singing, we're having a good time. "Blessings on the King who comes in the name of the Lord, peace in heaven and glory in the highest heaven." Right? So this is what they're chanting. But some of the Pharisees among the crowd said, "Teacher, rebuke your followers for saying things like that." And he replied, "If I kept quiet, the stones along the road would burst into cheers." Wow. So basically, Jesus, you can't let people say that about you. And he's like, "Listen, this isn't even close to what I deserve," which is an amazing thing to point out there. And so at this point, everything has gone really well, right? They got the thing they needed, the donkey. They've got the big celebration in town. Everything is going great. And back to the original point, of our title, the most triumphant entry. If these guys, Bill and Ted, showed up in the scene, if they took the time machine and popped right here in the story, they would look around and think, wow, there is the king of Jerusalem riding in on town on a brand new kind of mini donkey, baby donkey. And yeah, everyone's having a great time. Like, this is perfect. And they would have completely been in the same atmosphere, the same thought of everybody in the crowd, and they would have missed it. And here's the point, you guys, and this is why we're doing this conversation now. We can't miss the point right now. Easter is not here yet. We're doing this story a little early, but we're doing it because we don't want to miss the point. We don't want to miss the point and just think of this small version of who Jesus was, which is exactly what everybody in Jerusalem in this moment was doing. Maybe not everybody, but a lot of people were. Now here's the thing. If we look a little farther in Luke chapter 19, verse 41, Jesus knows that people are missing the point. He knows that they're missing the picture. And here's what we get is verse 41 says, "But as he came closer to Jerusalem and saw the city ahead, Jesus began to weep." And you can kind of read through the rest of that and get a little picture. I think we can kind of sum up some parts of it. Is these people have this little view of Jesus as the king of Jerusalem or the king of Israel, right? They've got this thing in mind of the Roman Empire is going to get overthrown. Jesus is going to be the king in our town. He's going to make everything good again, make Israel great again. Like, that's the small view that they have of who Jesus is. But Jesus knows that on many different levels, Rome's not going anywhere anytime soon. Jerusalem's not going to have a new king. He knows that really a lot of the city is probably going to be torn down, and they're going to continue to get beat up, and the thing that they're hoping for isn't going to happen. The end of verse 44, it even says, they're not going to find peace because you did not recognize it when God visited you. So they're looking for the wrong thing. They're looking for a human king to come and make their problems go away, right? They're missing the point. They're missing the picture. They're waiting for somebody to make everything go back to normal, to make all of our problems go away, and then we get to live our life the way we want to, right? That's what they're looking for. That's what they want. You guys, if there's one thing we can communicate tonight and talk about in our groups, it's this idea that we can't miss the picture of who Jesus is. Especially now, if there ever really was a time where we can't miss the picture of my life, your life is more than being at work. It's more than being at school. It's more than doing the things that I want to do, when I want to do it, and how I want to do it. That's not the point, right? So the most triumphant entry is this amazing example of how Jesus literally walked down the street and everybody cheered, but they didn't even realize who they were cheering for. They thought they were cheering for just a great person, a good person, somebody who was going to make their problems go away, somebody who was going to be a good leader for them, and then they get to take their life back the way they want it. I hope you guys take a little bit of time to think about that for you, for yourself. What does it mean for you to have a big picture of who Jesus is? Quite honestly, for those of us that are Christians, that we put our faith and hope in Jesus, then that means that we have a big view that Jesus isn't just somebody who lived and died a couple thousand years ago and said a couple nice things and did a couple nice things, right? We've got a bigger view than that. We should have a bigger view than that. We should understand that the person that rode into town changed everything. And when we get to Easter, whether it's online or whatever it looks like, Easter's not going to stop. It's going to happen, right? One way or another. It might look different, but it can't stop. And it's not stopped for thousands of years because what happened changed everything. It wasn't what people expected. It wasn't what they thought was going to happen. And quite honestly, they didn't like it. Like, they cheered. These same people that were cheering for Jesus to come into town, a week later cheered for him to be crucified because they didn't get it. They missed it. And again, you guys, we have the opportunity to go through life and think, man, I worship God at church. God must live in church somewhere. He's backstage maybe. Maybe we think that, I'm just a student, so the only way I can connect to God is by being at church, at youth group on Wednesday or Sunday morning for 45 minutes or an hour. This is an opportunity for all of us to take a bigger view of what it means to follow Jesus and to know who he is, right? It's an opportunity to take a bigger view of what it means that student ministry is your ministry. It's not just Daniel and I and all of our volunteers. that God has a plan and a purpose for you. And that's one of the things we want to walk away with. Whether you're watching this on Wednesday or later, some other time, is for you to ask that question for yourself. Is what is your response to who Jesus is? What is your response to what is his role in your life? I hope that you guys will take the challenge to make a bigger picture, right? To wonder, what is more of my life in his hands, right? I don't just want a little picture, a little role, a little job for Jesus in my life. I want to have all of it given to him. So what does that look like? And what could that look like now when I'm stuck at home? I can't go to school. I can't go to work. What does it look like when you go back too? It's going to continue. Your life's going to change. My life has changed so much. Again, you guys have probably heard my kids in the background, maybe the dog or once or twice, but your life's going to continue to change. And if you're looking for somebody to just make your problems go away, or maybe once or twice a week for an hour, get some of your attention, then you're missing it. You're missing the big picture of who Jesus is. So this is a great time to kind of reset and reclaim that idea of who is Jesus in your life and what does it mean to follow after him. Thanks for listening, and you guys have a great day.